Hello everybody. So today's video we're going to be going over the feet. Okay, so we're going to be talking about some of the things we can be doing to warm them up. We're going to be talking about some of the things we can work on to actually work on certain foot, we'll call them problems, such as bunions, low arches, plantar fasciitis, all those kinds of things. We're not going to specifically go into details, but I will be showing you some things that are good for those, okay? So this can be used not only as a warm-up, getting those feet activated, getting those feet ready, getting them out of your shoe and working, but it's also going to just be some nice mobility work, getting those feet actually moving. So let's go down to the feet and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to have our feet planted on the ground. And at any point during this, if you need to reach down and give your foot a helping hand, by all means, go for it, okay? So we're just going to start off with what I think is super easy, but never is big toe lift-offs. So we're just going to lift them up, put them back down. Seems pretty easy, right? But when we've had them in our shoes, and especially shoes with a ton of restrictions and or support, sometimes we lose the ability to move our feet, which is why this is such a great idea to be working on this. So again, we're just raising and lowering that big toe. Again, if it's not happening, you can reach down, pick up that big toe, put it back down, and keep in mind too that if this is something you were born having the ability to do, okay? So this is something you will be able to get back. It could take 3 weeks of staring at your big toe, just willing it to move. It will eventually happen, unless there is some other condition going on. So now let's move on to the outer 4 toes. We're gonna lift them up and put them back down. Lift them up, 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 put them back down. And now on another note, let's lift them all up and put them back down. How fast can you go? Do you lose your balance? My left foot's kind of going a little funky here. What happens as you pick up speed? So now, let's have them all up, and now the opposite of what we just did. Just tap that big toe down, bring it back up. Tap the big toe down, bring it back up. I think Lita's coming in for a camera moment. Just tap the big toe down, bring it back up. If you lose balance, just keep going. Get your balance back on and keep going. All right, and now the outer 4 toes. Can you tap them down, lift them back up, tap them down, lift them back up, tap them down, lift them back up. And now, you may only be able to do this with one foot, maybe both, but standing on your feet, can you spread your toes? At this point in my journey of working on my feet, I cannot. I can put one foot out front and spread one foot at a time. If I were seated, I could have both legs out in front of me and spread my feet. I will show you. We've just got all the dogs. All right, come on out of here. All right, so again, as I was saying, if I had both feet out in front of me, I could, there we go. It's not just theory. I can spread the toes and relax. Spread and relax. You do want to practice the seated and standing though. So if you're going to practice this standing, have all the weight off that front leg and focus on spreading and relaxing. And then as you progress, slowly lean more onto that front foot. So now some of the things you can do to get that foot moving a bit better and give it a helping hand. We're going to lift our foot up, put it onto a raised surface. A chair is typically better than a soft surface, but one of the things you can start off doing, I'll just face the camera a little bit better here, is we're just going to move the big toe to the side, bring it back in. So I'm just being very gentle. You don't need to yank your toe around, but just move it side to side. As long as this foot is relaxed, you should get some movement. It might be super tiny at the beginning, and then you might get a lot more as time goes on. Another thing you can do is actually physically spread all the toes apart, whether you go one by one, you work your way back to the middle, whatever it is, just work on spreading those toes. And now I'm going to show you one of my favorite foot devices that you can use. Just this guy here. Most people have seen them. You usually get it when you get a pedicure, manicure, those kinds of things. But if you just sit at the TV one night, you pop this bad boy in, maybe leave it for 30 minutes, the next day you might have a foot that spreads. I'm not saying any miracles are expected to happen, but sometimes that's all the body needs. It just needed a little bit of release. And I do find with shoes, after I do this, my foot feels so much better after having been in a shoe all day. So now, a little bit more with the foot. Again, standing in our one position, relatively narrow stance, we're going to roll the foot in and roll the foot up. So we're flattening the arch, lifting the arch up, flattening the arch, lifting the arch up. If we want a bit more of a challenge now for this bone in here, keep all your toes on the ground, roll that arch in, keep the toes all on the ground as you pull that arch up, and just going back and forth for quite a few repetitions. All right. So that is it for kind of a basic foot routine to get mobility back into the foot, get it moving better. I have had reports of people doing this routine and their squats get better, and it's honestly not surprising. I mean, who can blame us if we fix the things we stand on, things up top suddenly get better? Makes a bit of sense, right? So thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed. Hope your feet maybe feel like they're moving a little bit better. Enjoy the rest of your day.